Kendall, I'm director of the School of Social Work. Apparently what you all want to come to, that's great news.
It's recording.
And I have with me Connie Kirschner, who's our director of Practicum, and Deb Anderson from Project Harmony, and Allison Getkin from the state of Nebraska, and I don't see Donna, but she's coming from NFC. So why you're here is we have been meeting and putting together a plan, hopefully, to address some of the shortage of workforce issues, and particularly professionalization of the workforce. And lots of the research says that as people get advanced degrees and as they continue to work in the child welfare system, the whole system gets a whole lot better. Particularly not just for the workers, but families you serve, the agencies, etc. So we have been brainstorming in lots of different components, and we have kind of the end result today, and I guess the actual end result will be in August when we start. What we have given you is an outline of the program we've put together, and what we are proposing to offer is an MSW, Master of Social Work program, for people currently employed in the child welfare system. And that would include anyone from Health and Human Services, from Project Harmony, or from NFC. So in that capacity, obviously all of you got the information, and we did kind of just, would anybody really be interested in this? And the answer is, oh yes. So we were very pleased by that. And the purpose for tonight is just kind of to give you an overview of what the program will look like. I'll answer as many questions as I can. Questions about what you have to do in your individual agency, I can make up the answer, but if you would like the real answer, you probably will have to ask somebody in your agency familiar with that, because I'll just tell you something and it may not be true. So I know the School of Social Work, I know our requirements, I know what our program looks like. Connie's here if you have specific questions about Practicum. And that's pretty much what tonight is for. It's just kind of the information session and to give you more information about the program. So this is our website. It flashes through, and this is where all information in God's universe is contained. UNO is totally paperless, and everything we do is online. And all information about our programs, our practicums, how to apply, how to do everything is contained in the Holy Grail of the website. Announcements, etc. And I know it's really well done because I have a graduate assistant who does it, so they don't let me touch this. But it has all the information contained. What's not on here is specific information about this cohort yet, because it's not going to be open to the public, basically. It is only open to employees in the child welfare system that we've talked about. So what it will be, just as a simplistic overview, we have an off-campus program currently operating in Kearney. And the way students go through that program is 2 courses a semester, 1 online and 1 face-to-face in a weekend format. And what weekend means is Friday night, 5:30 to 8:30, and Saturday, 8:30 to 4:30. 4 weekends in a semester, and in Kearney, we run it in September and October. We skip November, December, and then we do it again in March and April. On the UNO campus, it will be throughout the semester. So it'll pretty much be 1 weekend a month is what the weekend course would be. The dates for all the courses are already determined from now until 2019 when you will graduate. And the reason we do that is because they're not flexible. So if you know you're getting married on a certain day and it's in 2018 and you happen to have class that day, make sure your wedding's after 6. Or before 8:30, either way. Because In a weekend format, you do have to have what are called contact hours, meaning you have to have your took us in the seat in the classroom in order for the class to be counted as a credit hour. So there's no College World Series, always a problem when people kind of want to smooch out. So we give you the dates ahead of time. You would take one class online, as I said, and online, it'll be totally online. It will not be hybrid. Hybrid courses are where you meet occasionally in person. It'll be totally online, so you can do it at your leisure. Most of our faculty are pretty adept at teaching online. We use Adobe Connect a lot of times, and so you can do that course whenever. So you would have 2 courses a semester. With the exception of one semester, you have 2 online courses and 1 face-to-face, and I think that's practicum actually, so we just have 2 online at that point. Basic accreditation requirements for master's program are that you have to be enrolled in 6 credit hours per semester, so that's why that's 2. It also, that's enough, it's a lot. Most of the practice courses, which is direct practice with individuals, families, groups, etc., will be taught face-to-face in the weekend format, and policy and research and special topics courses primarily would be the online format. So what do you have to do to get in? What we're asking you to do before you even start thinking about this, well, first of all, make sure you don't have your wedding planned for 4 o'clock. But second of all, is make sure that you meet the graduate entrance requirements and for a UNO graduate program. And for master's degree in social work, for this program, we decided that minimum undergraduate grade point average of 2.75, our usual is 3.0. What we felt is that we know people who work in the system sometimes, and people that have worked for periods of time who are good workers. Sometimes their grade point average may not be what they had hoped for in their undergraduate program, and we don't want to exclude people based on that. If it's less than 2.75, what our experience says is that you probably will struggle in graduate school. And what we don't want to do is have you get involved in this and go through all of the preconditions and all those things and find that you really don't like it, or it's just not for you. So seriously think about it before you apply. You need to have 2.75 grade point average. You need to be prerequisites for the Master of Social Work program, and this is for everybody, not just for this cohort. You need to have a course in human biology or anatomy physiology. You need to have a statistics course, and you need to have a course in research methods. And those can be in any discipline. So if you took them in psychology or sociology or wherever, that's fine. The biology course just has to have human biology, so it can't be like plants and those things. And you must have passed. So you got a D, you passed. Okay, so don't worry about what your research grade was ahead of time. And those courses have to be done before classes would start in the fall. So essentially, if you don't have some of those prerequisites, what we tell people frequently is go to Metro, go to Southeast Community College, go to Central Community College, enroll in a course, and get the prereq done before you come. You have to be a good moral character. Knowing that you work in the child welfare system, you've already passed a background check, and that saves us some stuff, actually.
So Amanda, they don't have to do another background check?
I don't think so. They already did one, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's done one? So, done one. You think?
No, sometimes the agencies will require you to do a background check, but for practicum, but I think we're going to have that figured out, so I don't think it should be a problem.
Yeah. So, okay, check, one step done. The other requirements, all of our requirements are on the website, and talk about, but that's basically the basic thing. You must have some course in human development, psychology, something. So if you were totally a chemistry major, maybe pick one of those up along the way. And I think we have it listed on this. But some type of human interest course. I'm assuming if you all work in the child welfare system, you have some of that in some capacity, and we can review that, etc. You have to have your transcripts sent to us, and our application process is, again, totally online. You can look at it at any time. All the requirements are listed at all times. And in the Master in Social Work program, you apply to the graduate college at UNO, and then you click social work and you apply to us from there. Part of our application is a personal statement, and the personal statement, the requirements for that, we're going to alter just a bit, because what we want to know from you is what your experience has been in the child welfare field, how you feel that your continued education would benefit your career, and kind of what you see for the future in your perspective. So we're not going to ask you to talk about your human service experience, because you're already doing it. So what we look for in other students often is what type of volunteer or human service experience have they had in the past. Because what you don't want to do is enroll in a very demanding graduate program and find out you really hate working with people and this is not for you. So we try and screen that out ahead of time. So how this program is going to work. There are 15 funded spots, and 174 people have indicated interest. So it will be highly competitive. There will be 5 from each agency. What will be funded is your tuition for each semester throughout the entire program, and it's guaranteed until the end of the program. What's not funded is your parking permit at UNO. That's never funded, by the way. Cost of books and any associated fees. And fees include, it's a $45 application fee, non-refundable to UNO. We're going to work with the university to try and get some of the fees reduced, like you're probably not going to use, I don't know, the student government and those type things, but at this point I can't guarantee that, because, well, you work for agencies, trying to change anything is, not an easy process. But fees are not horrendous. Books, we tell people to anticipate $300 to $500 a semester for books. We're very conscientious in the school. What we do is try and use the same editions of books, or if we use an updated edition, allow you to use the older ones, and we don't change books every semester, so you can always get used books and things from other students. And obviously you'll have 2 classes a semester, so the books would be associated with that. We are going year round, so it would be fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, summer. And we anticipate it would take you about 3.5 years to start to finish that MSW program. When you graduate, you have to pay back to the agency you came from in the sense of 1-for-1. So every semester you're in school, you would owe that commensurate amount of time back to the agency. And so basically what you're saying is I will continue to stay employed in my agency. If you fulfill that commitment, then you're done. You will be able to work full-time while you're in the program, and so no one should have a loss of income. And the major change around that is the structuring of the practicums. And practicum in the past sometimes has been challenging for students who work full-time, and what we're committed to is allowing you to do practicums in your place of employment or in some other place of employment. You all work for big places, so there's other opportunities, and you will also be allowed to do some of those hours during the day. And what the specifics of that are, we don't know yet, but we'll work that out when we come to it. But that's different than our traditional program. This cohort program, we agonized over the name, and we came up with a brilliant child welfare cohort. Had lots of snappy titles, and none of them fit nicely on file folders. So this program will be a cohort program, meaning you'll be in classes with the same people all the way through, and you won't flow in and out of it. In our other MSW programs, you can take classes in Omaha, in Kearney, online. in person however you want, and you don't need permits and things to do that. So some of our Omaha or Lincoln students often find it weekend class in Kearney works better one semester, and you can just enroll in any section that fits. For you guys, you'll be in the cohort, and other MSW students will not be allowed to flow in and out of it, so it'll strictly be tailored to you. What else am I forgetting? Looking at my team over here. Other questions?
There's a two-step application process.
Oh, how you get in. Okay, so you're going to start with your agency, but we are requesting that you do closely review the application standards and you do look at the schedule in terms of, and really decide before you even kind of embark on this, is this a good time for me right now? Do you have the time to devote to it? Because we won't sugarcoat it. It's hard to work full-time and go to school. Lots of you have probably already done that, so you know what I'm talking about, but it is challenging. And if you know, say in the next year that you've got major family commitments, or you might possibly be moving to Manitoba, this may not be for you at the time. So do look at what the requirements are. Do look at, is this kind of meet my needs, and is this something I'm really interested in? And if you decide it is, you can certainly then, the first part of the application is you will apply to your agency. So whether you work for DHHS or NFC or Project Harmony, you will do what to apply to your agency? Does it say on here?
Not on here, but we're
Not
gonna
here, okay.
send out the specific steps for how to do that after all of our respective legal departments look at it and approve it. But there will be a process where you get approval and a letter, sort of an endorsement. Did you mention 3 letters?
No, yeah, letters of reference.
So you have to have letters of reference to apply to the school social work anyway. So we're saying one of those letters has to come from your supervisor or program director. And that's the way you get the support of your agency.
Yeah. So you need to be an employee in good standing, meaning not on probationary status in your agency, or not, have your license up for violation or those type of things. Certainly, you do have to have the endorsement of your supervisor of the unit you work in terms of being promoted for this. And then the agencies will choose their candidates. Okay, basically, where UNO is not involved in that selection. Once you're selected, we're having a separate application process, so you wouldn't be part of the general UNO application process, just for this cohort, and then you would apply to us. And pretty much what we're saying is if the agency endorses you and you know you meet our basic standards, you're pretty well guaranteed admission into the program. The limitation is just the number of funded spots. So, not to deviate too far, but and you won't, if you think you're interested and you don't think you may make the cohort, you're certainly encouraged to apply to the regular MSW program at any time, and our applications are open now and we close on January 15th. But that would be not for the cohort, it would just be for the regular MSW program. Question?
GRE score be required for?
Do not use GREs as an admission requirement. We don't use them at all. They're inherently discriminatory, and you don't really predict how well you'll do in our experience. So.
What if you were eligible for advanced standing in a master's social program?
We do not have an advanced standing in this cohort. If you're eligible for advanced standing, if you have a BSW, we would encourage you to apply just to our regular advanced standing cohort. But this program is strictly for I don't want to say we don't want BSWs because we love BSWs, but this program is just going to be to start with for foundation, because it's going to start at the foundation level.
So you could have a social work program and still do the work then? You could still have a bachelor's in social work and still do the cohort?
Do this cohort, I wouldn't encourage you to do that because you've already got some of the stuff. That'd be, you'd have to work, let me give you the definitive answer. Clear that with your agency, because each agency is going to kind of make its own determination. What the intent of this program was is kind of to get non-social work people to be social workers, because we know that's the very best thing to be in the entire world, in my opinion. And that was the intent to begin with. So now, there are a zillion questions about this, and we don't have the answers to all of them. If I started a social work program 10 years ago and I'm there now, Some of those are going to be a case-by-case basis.
If we attended UNO for our other degree,
Mhm.
do we still need to do a release for you guys to obtain those transcripts, or can you just get them from the university?
Now, you still have to release them to us, because I realize we're all on one campus, but in order for the registrar to release them to the graduate office, it has to be with your permission. Yeah.
I had called about these class requirements ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
She had said something about how some of the upper level psychology classes for undergrads could count towards this human biology requirement. Do you know which ones those are?
Yeah, biology. Yeah.
So none of the psychology ones. She had said there were psychology classes.
The only ones that really count are human biology, anatomy, or physiology. So if you took any of those, or if you, in that sense, usually what counts in the upper level are research methods inside or statistics inside that cover it. Yeah.
I started at UNL and took psych courses there, and I transferred to Bellevue. I looked at my transcript,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't list the psychology courses, so would my transcript from UNL be okay to be included?
Sure, sure. Yeah, what we say is, in terms of applying to any graduate program, any school you attended, get the transcripts from it. So if you went to 2 or 3 schools, just get your transcripts from those schools, because sometimes they're not on the one you graduated from. So if you went to a couple, be sure to just have them sent. We're playing with the mic, I know. Okay. Yeah.
Is there any plan to expand this out to like UNK for the employees that are out in the
There is
central and western part of Nebraska?
We won't have a specific cohort at UNK. We will have 5 MSW Title IV-E funded positions that will be through UNK. And that if you work for DHHS, then check with them, Allison, about those positions. So that will be part of the weekend cohort out there, but it's not a specific, we're not going to have a specific cohort you'll be in with everybody else.
I guess there are 5 slots out there.
5, yes, there are 5 additional, not just these 15, there are 5 additional
5 more.
at UNK.
And they're not for Project Harmony or NFC.
Yeah, there's strictly Title IV-E funding, which is for child welfare, and those will be at UNK.
Just have will those have the same requirements? Do those have the UNK have the same requirements?
It's just application to the regular MSW program there. Yeah, which is, it's all one program, we just teach it 280 miles apart.
So for those 5 spots, do you have to have a DSW then to get into that?
No.
And for those 5 spots that we're talking about for UNK, there will still be the application to the agency to request tuition assistance,
Right.
and then application to the university.
Yeah.
Are you looking
Yeah.
Advanced standing with the DSW, doesn't that expire after so many years?
10.
10?
Yeah. Yeah. To apply to our advanced standing program, if you're just kind of doing our regular program, you have to have a BSW within the last 10 years. Because there were nobody texted 10 years ago, so.
You said that
I'm reminded things change.
You said that the dates have already been chosen. Do you have a list of where those dates are at, so that you can list those? And make
We
sure-
will hand that out when you get the stuff from your agency. Those dates will all be on it. But we just kind of gave you the brief outline of what the courses were and which one will be what. But those dates are already done. And again, it's primarily one weekend a month, and then the others are online. Somebody?
Are you looking to continue this program yearly, or thought about that?
This is a pilot program, let me stress this. This is being funded by a private donor. Okay? So, and you can thank my team over here for getting the donations. All I did is think of the program and I'll hire the faculty. They did all the legwork on it. So it's being funded privately by someone who wants a child welfare system to be better in Nebraska. So I don't, the answer to that, yes, as soon as I get $1 million, absolutely. But no guarantees at this point. Yeah.
So we applied to the agency and to UNO,
Right.
and then after both of those are completed, like I'm sure there'll be some sort of deadline, and then you'll decide which 5 from each agency.
Yeah, actually, the agency will decide who they put forward to us. And then we'll just review your application and make sure you meet our requirements, and then you'll be notified. So I
April
think,
1st is the deadline April 1st is the date that you'll be notified of whether or
Right.
not you're accepted.
right.
For
So
this
the
cohort.
February 1st is the deadline to apply to your agency, and following tonight, the holdup on not giving you everything tonight is everything has not been reviewed by legal by all 3 agencies and departments in time. And we really can't, you know, you guys work for agencies, you work with them junk all the time. So we can't give you everything and say this is carved in stone because it's not fully done yet. But we'll have it pretty quickly. You'll apply to your agency by February, so that gives you a little time to think about, you know, do I really want to do this and what would my life look like? And then you would apply to us by March 15th, and we will notify you by February 1st, or by April 1st. Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
Are you accepting any additional people that say you're not gonna do the tuition assistance? Is it open to anyone that would be willing to pay for that, or is it just closed to the 15?
I think for this pilot, we're just gonna confine it to the 15, and the reason for that, not that we wouldn't love to have it be 30, is the practicum requirements are gonna be pretty demanding on us. And if that all goes super smooth and everything falls into place, probably next time we do it, we would absolutely open it up. But I think this time we're gonna confine it to the 15 and just see how it goes.
Amanda, I just want to clarify something. I know that there were like, I guess 200 emails flying back and forth
Yeah,
between the agencies.
come stand up here.
Oh, great.
Tell them who you are.
Got the mic?
No,
Oh,
really,
hi.
that's great. Good afternoon, I'm Donna Roselle, Chief Operating Officer at Nebraska Families Collaborative. What I was saying is, there were like 200 emails flying back and forth between the 4 agencies. And in one of those, we had agreed that we would do advanced standing students, but you wouldn't start until like around the fall of 2018, something like that. So,
Right.
just to clarify that.
Yes, what we're looking at is we're trying to seek funding for that. So if you have a BSW, it doesn't mean we won't take you, we just don't have a funding source yet. We're in the process of hitting up multiple donors to try and fund that. And if that would happen, then if you have a BSW, you could join in the cohort right at the point where the advanced study courses will be offered. It's the price of Alexis is what I keep telling donors. For Alexis, you could put 5 more people in this program. But so far, I don't have Alexis or the money, so. Other questions?
When will the agencies be sending out the information about how we can apply and all of that paperwork?
Probably about 4:30, 4:35, what do you think? No?
Allison, do you want to answer that?
As soon as we get approval through our legal and HR, we will be sharing additional information. So
We made a decision, we're doing this all for one and one for all. So Project Harmony and NFC are not sending out information without HHS on board. And as you all know, HHS moves at a different speed. So we're waiting on their bureaucracy to give us the final okay, and then we'll send it all out.
And it really can't, I mean, we don't want to hand you stuff that is not true or not legal or anything else and lead you down the path. So it does have to be cleared, it does have to go through those things. So it'll be soon, so before Christmas, right?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. But we wanted to have this meeting so you really could begin thinking about it and, you know, decide if it works for you and if it would be something you're interested in. And like I said, we're thrilled with the response that so many people would come tonight just to learn about it. We're extremely encouraging. And the reason I was taking pictures is because I plan to take those back to my vice chancellor and say, give me more money. I have all these people, I could certainly, if I have resources, I could open up as many spots as I could. So that's part of it. We could run a whole program for the cost of one football player. Have football players that you know.
So, Amanda, just to give people an idea of what it would cost to pay their own way through, would you kind of give a ballpark figure what full tuition is?
Full tuition, I think what we calculated for the entire program is about $18,000 for in-state tuition. So graduate credit hours, I'm not here anymore, but if you go on our website, the cost of credit hours is set by the Board of Regents, not by each individual university. So if you look on admission statistics, and it'll say, here's what the cost of a graduate credit hour, it's about $300 a credit hour, I believe. So I think of a class as about $900. And which is what I tell people when they skip class, if you want to pay $1,000 and not show up, it's up to you. But that's a ballpark, basically, for in-state tuition. If you live out of state, if you live anywhere in the 5 counties surrounding Omaha, we have what's called Metropolitan Advantage, and we will work to get you in-state tuition, or it's pretty close to in-state. So if you live in Glenwood or Missouri Valley, something like that, we will also work to get your tuition at in-state rates. Okay. If you live in Oklahoma, we'll have to talk about that. So that's generally what it is. You're also eligible, if you go self-pay, certainly student loans, funding, the school itself, we offer about $325,000 in scholarships a year for students, and through our donors for the regular program. So it's certainly worth the investment. Also, there's loan forgiveness for social work. If you work for a designated agency for a period of time and you pay your student loans on time for length of time, we are eligible for federal loan forgiveness. So there's lots of different opportunities if you don't make this cohort. And if you apply for this cohort and you don't make it and you still really want to come to the School of Social Work, please come in and meet with us, and we also can see if we can work something out for the next admission cycle, because we really, we know people who work in child welfare are really committed to values in social work and could really benefit from our education and make great social workers. Yeah.
Does the regular master's program very similar to this scheduling where it's online and weekends? Do they have a regular program?
We don't have the weekend format except in Kearney. Except at UNK. Will we do that eventually? Probably after this one gets rolling, but no, we do have a number of online classes, but it is not totally online. So you would still have to come to campus, but lots of our classes are in the evening. We always run 4 to 7, 7 to 10, so lots of working people can take classes that way. We try and structure them. Advanced standing are always Monday, Tuesday, foundation or Thursday, Friday, so we try and make it as amenable to working people as we can, because probably 95% of our students work, either full-time or part-time. Yeah?
For the cumulative GPA, do they count in undergraduate if you already have a master's degree? Is it both GPAs?
No, you get, you have to submit transcripts for both, but you get, in terms of admission points, you get more for having a master's degree already. So if you have a master's degree in another area, you also are encouraged to apply for this. It won't eliminate you necessarily, but that's going to be an agency decision, not UNO's decision. We have enough of our own politics. We didn't really want to cross 3 more agencies and get that into the mix, so. All of our courses are taught by professors, either adjunct or full-time. We have no teaching assistants who teach. That's mine. So in terms of quality of instruction, we pride ourselves on that. Our first-time pass rates on licensing exams for master's students are 90% and above. So we run a pretty quality program, I think, in lots of ways. And you probably know people that are already in it.
If we go through this cohort and then, on your website, it does have some other types of social work degrees, including one for mental health practitioner. Once we go through this cohort, can we come back to UNO and complete those additional classes to get that additional certification?
You don't, the additional certification, are you talking about dual degrees?
Correct.
Yeah, we have dual degrees in public administration, a dual degree in public health, and a dual degree in criminal justice. You could, I suppose if you wanted to, would still be eligible for the dual degree. Dual degrees are 18 credit hours more for the second master's degree. We'd have to talk about that. The mental health licensure, that's a state licensing issue. It's not an academic credential.
But Amanda, when they graduate from this program, will they be eligible for licensure? as a
They
mental
have to do 2 years to supervise practice as an MSW, and then they're eligible and take the ASWB exam, and then you're eligible to be licensed in social work, clinically licensed.
If you're already doing like MPH, for instance, can you apply to try to do the dual degree? Is that possible?
Theoretically, you could. The difference is this cohort of classes are already set. You could probably, if you're already doing MPH courses, those would be in addition to everything here. What we wouldn't do is like substitute one of those for one of these.
Right.
So it's possible. We won't pay for your MPH courses though, in terms of this cohort. So that's just.
Would you talk a little bit about the courses in terms of their elective, that they get to elect any courses?
No. We elect them for you, so we take all that worry out of it for you.
Unlike the regular MSW.
Yeah, you wouldn't have in the cohort program, and it's the same in our off-campus program, we don't offer you 52 electives, because we just don't have faculty to teach that. So you would take the courses pretty well prescribed here. And the